Since I'm going to do this part of the process a little bit different with my speaker, I thought I'd show you. Let me get my light here. Alright. I thought I would just make something here where you're going to have the wires like this. One that would be from the voice coil, let's say, and then the one that leads down from the tensile wire down the voice coil former, the one that was originally there. So you need these two wires connected together. They would have an enamel coat over the wire, and that has to be scraped off first. I prefer a sharp, get my knife, just a sharp knife. I sharpened it a little bit extra on a grinding stone, a wetting stone I guess you call them, and you want to not create a bend point. See, it'll come off right here from that one, and right here from that one. If you start pulling it out and stuff, it'll start bending at that point. You want to hold your finger down over it, and we start raking the knife over it. You don't want to just do here, right there, and then the same point right there. You want to get different points so you don't create an etch on the wire also when you're scraping it off. Hold it against one of your fingers while you're pulling it up. Scrape the enamel off. You'll see it come off. Try not to create bend points when you do that. So that's what I'm going to do right here off of cameras, because I only got, you know, one hand free when I'm holding the camera. And then we'll go to the next point, which is getting it braided and soldered. Get a nice bead at the end. You'll be touching to it and holding it for a moment, and then running it up. It should work. I got part of it. I'm going to try to get the end. There it is. Ain't going to show good on my camera, but I got it. After the coil's ready, you just can connect wires to the tensile leads. I got a wire going down. The speaker's not together yet. It's just sitting in the cone's sitting on there, and the coil's resting in the gap. It's aligned enough. So you're supposed to use a 9-volt battery for this. I got a AAA because I don't want to search my room right now to find my 9-volt. So this is going to be kind of hard to do with one free hand here. I'm going to try to touch it to the cone. It'll either push it up or pull it down depending on the polarity. That's what you're checking for. Alright, you see it pushing it out? Then I know which one is the positive and which one is the negative corresponding to the wire. It's going to, I'll check the pluses and the minuses I'm touching to and see which tensile is touching which, and that'll tell you which one's the plus and which one's the minus. It doesn't have to connect to the exact same one on your terminal. If the negative one connects to the positive, you just got to remember that and mark it. First, though, you have to connect the surround. Surround is before spider. And you want to clean it with isopropyl alcohol. And some people say, well, it has oils in it. Why are you using that? It won't let the glue bond as good. And the oils are minuscule. And for a silicone adhesive, it's not going to really be an issue at all. If this is such a good oil, go put it in your car engine. It's not that much oil in it, and it's not going to make much of a difference in the bonding of silicone. And you don't want acetone on this. You don't want water, because water will get the hard water kind of issue around it, and you just go with rubbing alcohol, period. I've done it plenty. I've never had a problem. Got my cotton swabs, Q-tips, whatever, and gonna clean the underside of the lip of the surround and the top of the cone here where it's going to connect with the alcohol. And then you're going to spread the caulking, the silicone caulking, in a moderately thin but not too thin layer right around there, and on the underside of the surround, and do it quickly because the stuff loves to dry very fast. And you'll have the surround connected to the top side, okay? So you gotta have the surround above it. Right now, I got the surround, see it's still below the cone. And you'll press the socks into the speaker basket to hold the cone up while it's drying. And while it's drying, you're gonna take your fingers sequentially at times, going around making sure it is tacking to it. Silicon's good about being pretty sticky like that, and it'll hold it down for you so you don't have to really put nothing on it to hold it down. Alright, well, I glued the surround. It's in the gluing process. The socks are still stuffed to hold the cone in place while it's drying. There's really not much left I can tell you. You got the terminals here that you're going to connect your tinsel leads to. Just give them ample room so that they have way movement up and down. So you got to have travel. Just solder them, resolder them to the terminal. Make sure your terminals are scraped, acetone cleaned. This is the point where you can solder and hold the gun to the terminal to heat it if you wish to. It's not going to hurt anything right here. If you want to take a precaution, you could clamp with a little alligator clip or something where the tinsel wires are going to be. I don't have them here on mine, but that'll help to pull the heat out of it so it doesn't go down into the coil, but it isn't going to be enough to matter. So just reconnecting the spiders, and I'm terribly sorry that I can't really show you how to do that, because on my speaker it's not going to be the same as with the normal fix, but you just line it up where it matches, and you want to beat it down, the inner spider first, of course. You want to beat it down with a little bit of epoxy, and make sure it's in alignment, because you don't have to align the surround, and the surround's already aligned. So that's part of the suspension. The rest is just the spiders. So once that bottom spider is aligned enough to where the coil is centered, and you just press a little here, press a little here, press a little here, press a little here around it, and you'll be able to see the alignment, because the coil will rub the T-yoke pole if it's pushed out of alignment on one side. You want it to be even on each side. You don't want one side to be too close to the T-yoke pole. So you can maneuver this bottom spider while you're gluing it, and it's a bitch on this speaker. I've been there and done it before, and I'm about to have to do it again. I'm not going to film that part, so this caps off the fix. Once the spiders are glued, and I do say hefty glue, do not use any kind of what's it called? Gel epoxy? Do not use epoxy gel that does not dry as hard as the regular epoxy. You're going to get the 2-part mix, Loctite, whatever, the 5-minute cure, 5-minute set, whatever. That's the kind you're going to use for the spiders. And overdo it, especially on the bottom one, because I found out that on this one I didn't do it good enough the first time, and it came loose, but the top one I did it very well, and it didn't come loose. So that bottom spider, you don't ever want to have to get back down to it again. So once you kind of beat it around, little dot here, little dot there, till it's held in place and aligned, run a good line all the way around. I mean, almost like encapsulate it, but don't overdo it. You gotta keep a little flashlight on hand, make sure you're not getting too much down in there, and it's going to be a little creative how you're going to get that glue to set just down in that gap right, because you got to pull that top spider up to do it. I'm sorry, but I didn't say this stuff's going to be easy. Overdo it on the bottom one. On the top one, of course, the same thing. You do want to overdo it, but don't get down into the corrugations with your glue if you can help it. You don't want to take away from the cone excursion, but if you're at this point, if you've even followed this or just watching it for instructional purposes, whatever, the speaker is about ready to run. And though this is the end of the fix, I'll post a video of the speaker in action within hopefully a few days. I still can't guarantee that mine's going to align too fast, but I got high hopes for it. That's what I said on my last speaker, right? I got high hopes. That's all you can do. So maybe in a few days this will be in a box, maybe a little sealed box, just something to test it out with. And alright, there's the end of the fix. Alpine Type R DIY repair.